All right, so greetings everyone. I'm glad to see you all, and yeah, let's just wait maybe 1 minute for the rest to join the room, and in the meantime I'm gonna take some water. So yeah, just 1 minute on hold. Okay, so I'm back again. Yeah, once again, glad to see you all, and welcome on today's questions and answers session. That's like, I think that's the third time we host Q&A. So that's basically the best time for you to ask what bothers you the most, and I will show you some tips and tricks at your request if that's possible on today's webcast. I actually have a list of some questions from you that we got before this before this event. So I'm gonna use this list, and I'm also gonna look at the chat to see what are the new questions you guys have, and yeah, let's see how it goes. So first of all, congratulations with Bitcoin's all-time high. It's like 66k right now or something. Let's check real quick. Oh, actually it's 63, so a short sell off, but that's okay still. Yeah, all-time high 66. Oh, actually almost 67, which is great, which is very great. So despite all of this turbulence that has migrated from China with its crackdown on crypto and all of these mining operations, migration from China, the network now is more decentralized than ever before, and you see how the price reacted despite all of this turbulence that happened in China recently. We now have ETF, futures ETF approval, which is not as good as if we would have spot ETF approval, but still ETF futures is a good thing. It provides more exposure to US citizens, so that means more inflow into the crypto space, more interest, more demand, which is very good in general for the price growth. But yeah, that's not the topic of today's webcast. Today we're gonna go through some of the interesting questions you guys shared with us, and the one that I see now was what's the minimum deposit that you need in order to launch the automated bot. So here's the thing with the minimum balance you need to have to launch the bot. It all depends on the crypto exchange. And by the way, my internet connection is lagging for some reason. Let's check. Yeah, should be fine now. So yeah, the answer is it all depends on the cryptocurrency exchange of your choice. So for example, in my case, I have some coins on Binance, on Huobi, and OKEx, And as I told you on previous webcasts, in most cases, you will get better you will get better requirements. I mean, the threshold for you to enter the market on Huobi and OKX is lower than on Binance, because, for example, on Binance, the minimum trade size is around $10. Okay, so that means that in order to buy, let's say, Shiba Inu coin, you need to spend at least $10 to buy it, because they won't let you buy Shiba coin worth only $3 of your investment. Okay, which is not the case for Huobi and OKX. They have lower entry barrier, which is good, and that means that we can now spend less money on the bot, because we know that for one limit buy and for one limit sell order, requirements are lower than on Binance. So in case of Binance, from my experience, in order to see the results, like some lucrative performance, then it really starts with around $350 being the minimum threshold to kind of start trading on Binance with automated bots and to see the results. Okay, it doesn't mean that you cannot launch the bot with, let's say, a $200 and something worth investment. Okay, it's just that around $350 up to $500, depending on the cryptocurrency. That's pretty much the minimum for you to start trading with automated bots on Binance specifically. Okay, but you can have a lower. Let's actually try. Let's say I want to trade. Start new bot. Let's check the Asbot, for example, and let's go with maybe no, basic attention is what I have now. Okay, let's check if we have maybe AVAX, which is the Avalanche, and USDT, and let's see if what's the minimum in that case. I guess it's gonna be around $300 or something. Let's try maybe $200 and let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much possible, because look, it requires 10 grid levels to allocate $200 into this bot, so that's good. Maybe let's try 150, adjust grid. So yeah, still possible. So down to 5 grids, that's what you can afford. So that pretty much means that on Avalanche it can be around, I guess, $125 is what you can afford. No, actually, yeah. So yeah, around 6 grid levels, which is like almost the minimum of how many grid levels you can have. So yeah, $125 split into in that case we have 1, 2, 3 sell orders and 2 no, actually 4 or something. So yeah, because in total 6 grid levels. So yeah, most of them are going to be allocated to sell orders. As you can see, the exact allocation, $62, goes to quote currency. That's limit buy orders, all of these green orders here, and the rest goes to the base currency, which is sell orders in that case. So you can start with 125 on AVAX, which can be not the case on other coins. Let's say let's try Shiba, even though I don't actually know much about this coin. It's just for the sake of the example. Let's check if we can still trade with $125. Yeah, it's possible here to trade with this. And in order for you to kind of lower the grid step, because you don't want to market jump that crazy, because you see, in order for the bot to execute these orders, the market should move crazy. Like you see, this step is 10%, so at least 10% is required to trigger your first order, which is kind of huge volatility that you put into account here. So in that case, maybe not the wise thing to have 6 grid levels with 10% of the grid step. But what you can do is actually lower it like this. So that way, by squeezing, like by narrowing down the trading range, you basically still afford this bot worth $125. But now with 6 grids, you see the grid step is not 10%, but it's 6%. So it can be your configuration for this concrete cryptocurrency, okay? But honestly, I never traded with that amount of grid levels. Like the minimum I ever had, I think, was around 15 grid levels or something. No, actually, I'm lying. It's around 13, as you can see. No, actually 10 on Bitcoin, 10. But the reason why I have 10 grids on Bitcoin is because I really wanted just to buy the dip when it was falling down heavily back in May, I guess, or something. It was the time when I wanted to buy the dip, so that's why I used only 10 grid levels with a step of 4% only, which was really good outcome in the end. So yeah, that's how you can see it now. And if we look at other exchanges like Huobi and OKEx, I can tell you for sure that well, if they have these coins that you can trade on Binance, then the wise thing is, well, to trade them on Huobi or OKEx if they are also present there, because requirements on OKEx and Huobi are lower. So that way, let's say you have $1,000 on your balance, and if you would trade only on Binance, then when taking into account the minimum, which we just checked, is around $125, well, that way you can afford around, what, 8 bots? But on OKEx, for example, with $1,000, you can afford, I would say, 10, 11 bots for sure, with this same $1,000 investment. So it's really up to you, and I honestly highly urge you to diversify your portfolio, not only with different coins, but also with different exchanges. So pretty much don't hold all of your investments on one exchange, okay? Because there is still a chance that something bad can happen, especially with centralized exchanges like Binance, especially with those that are operating in China, okay? Like Huobi, for example. So you need to take these systematic risks into account when you enter the market. So that's basically what I'm doing. I have most of my coins on Binance because it's trustworthy. It's, yeah, well, it has a good track record, and it's, I mean, Binance is everywhere, and to shut it down, it would be really, really hard, like almost impossible. So that's why, considering its goodwill and its like resource capacity, it's like right now it's pretty much almost impossible to shut down Binance, even if you try hard, but still possible. Okay, so that's why I have Huobi and OKEx. Especially if there are no coins that I want to trade on Binance, then I go to Huobi and OKEx. So yeah, final answer is around, I think $100 is what you can start with. But to really see the results, to cover the money you pay for the subscription on Bitsgap, I would say starting with around $350 per automated bot is a wise thing to do, because it will generate you enough. It's not 100% of course guaranteed, because everything depends on the crypto of your choice and how it's gonna be trading in the next month. But the way for you to monitor is, well, just look at use cases like I have here. You see some make me 0.5% per day, which is enough to cover, more than enough to cover expenses on just the subscription on Bitsgap, to kind of cover the cost of trading here. So yeah, that's why I have like 17 bots as of now. Even the futures bot here, for example, up to 20 with current subscription. Okay, so let's go and see what else we got to answer. So yeah, some of you have been asking about the volume profile indicator that I use on TradingView. and basically to show you more use cases with the volume profile. So what is the volume profile in general? So it's not the one you see now here. The volume profile is this tool. You go here on the left side, there is a sidebar. You just click on this icon here and go to fixed range volume. And let's say I want to see what was the market interest starting from this mid summer 2021 up until the current price. So according to this, you can clearly see that the biggest interest was at the price of $47. Okay, actually it corresponds, I would say, no, it perfectly aligns with the previous price formations, like this one being the support in that case, which then acted as a resistance at this period here. So usually the volume profile just shows you where the most volume being traded and at which price. So according to this one, $47,000 was the point of interest for the market. And usually when you see the breakout, like over here, for example, it's a good sign that the market is now willing to explore the new area. And for example, as we now establish this new all-time high, that's the new area for exploration, for price exploration. Okay, so this zone above here, it's never been traded, so who knows where is going to be the next support, resistance. Okay, volume profile just sometimes shows you this support and resistance lines based on the past outcomes. Like if I go from the basically beginning, you see the biggest volume traded was here at 33,000, which is not a surprise because that's the exact level of price at which, first of all, you see it corresponds with the support over here, perfectly aligns, and also that was the period of accumulation after this huge sell-off in May 2021. And then we remember this period of accumulation as big institutionals and those that are labeled as long-term holders have been accumulating coins, basically buying coins from exchanges and then sending these coins to their cold storages. So basically that was the outflow from exchanges. That's something that you can see on the on-chain analysis tools like Glassnode, for example, or Skew, for example. So these are some of the examples of on-chain analysis tools. And yeah, volume profile pretty much just shows you where you can expect the next support or resistance line. So let's say let's have a replay. No, okay, so let's use daily chart in that case. Delete. So let's say we are trading over here. Let's use the volume profile. So you see, according to the volume profile, we had the most interest trading here, okay? And since the price now is higher, the question is where we're gonna go. Like basically where you're gonna expect the next resistance and kind of the pullback. So we look at the volume profile and you see that the next biggest volume traded was in this zone. So pretty much you can expect resistance over here, and also it aligns with previous price formations over here. And if we go and see what really happened, yeah, you see there was a pullback from this area here. So pretty much using volume profile, it can be an indication for you when to exit or when to enter the market. So considering just volume profile, it would not be a wise thing to enter the market right at the time when it almost approached this next resistance line, because we would expect a short sell-off from here. So instead, just wait for this short sell-off this one, and then enter as you see the price going back. Well, the perfect scenario would be breaking this formation over here. So I would actually enter around this area at the breakout. Okay, so once I see the price breaking this important resistance line, plus taking into account that the moving averages were crossed, which is going to be another indication of the bullish sign here. So this is when I would enter with my bots configuration. But I mean, okay, so still you don't need to be that perfect in timing, okay? Because you can still enter the market even when the price has almost reached this resistance, and you know that there might be a short sell-off, and you can actually speculate on this short sell-off because you have the bot and you have the grid set up. That let's use example with maybe a random bot, maybe on VNX, wherever it is. So you always have this space, you leave this space for the bot to use your quote currency to buy more of the base currency in case if the price starts to fall from now. Okay, so with bots you don't need to be that perfect in timing. You don't need to be like 100% sure that okay, in the next 5 minutes the price is gonna skyrocket. No, with bots you can still expect the price to fluctuate lower or higher, and that way you can capitalize on it, because when the price falls it just buys at a better price, and once the price goes higher, well, it's good because before this rally you accumulated more of the base currency at a better price, at a lower price, and now it is appreciating, which is good. Okay, that's basically what we are doing here, and you can see in examples like Algorand, for example, on my Asbot, you see 137% of the total result for the last 2 months, which is insane. I mean, it all started from here. It started from the bottom. Now we're here, as it's known in song. So yeah, 0.8, that was the start. And thanks to the features like trading up, and that the bot was, yeah, and that the bot had a pretty decent setup in a way that the volatility like of 15% of the overall trading range was enough for me to capture all of this price momentum on Algorand. So when the price was falling a bit, it was buying, accumulating more of the base currency, and which resulted in more returns as the price then reverted back and made new all-time high, for example. So with bots you don't need to really be that precise in market timing. Okay, it's just that you can use volume profile to kind of see where you can expect the price to fall and where you would expect it to rise, and depending on resistance or support line, that will show you when to enter or when to potentially exit. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much how you use the volume profile. Okay, and yeah, and maybe use it again. And this area over here, this would be for you the important zone. If the price falls, you would expect the bounce off from here. If not, then it's gonna break it and fall lower. In any case, that's the point of interest for you to look at, and depending on the reaction, you will either exit the bot, or you will open the new one with better configuration to kind of capture all of this momentum over here as the price falls to the next support line. Okay, but honestly I use only, let's say, 40% of technical analysis in my research. In crypto, for me, it's all about the fundamental analysis, looking into different layer 1, layer 2 solutions like Polygon. Well, actually Polygon is not the layer 2 solution, it's actually the side chain, so you cannot really call it the layer 2 solution. But if you look at other projects like, for example, DUIDX, which is on the layer 2 solution, known as the ZK rollup, and knowing the technology of ZK rollup and what are the benefits. And when you see projects like DYDX exploring this layer 2 solution, taking advantage of its features, you know that it's gonna go big. And that's actually what happened with the DYDX since its launch 1 month ago. So that's basically how I monitor the market. I look into interesting solutions out there, looking for those projects that are not afraid of experiments, okay, and that offer something new to this market and that are good in market fit and product fit, okay. So it's not a financial advice or whatsoever, it's just how I use my mindset to scan the market for opportunities. And that's basically what you see here. It's the result of this research, like OXT for example. You see how the price skyrocketed. So I had some research before that, anticipating the price to finally show some interest on the market, and it happened, okay. So like really 60% of your research, I think, still is mostly about the fundamental analysis, because this market is still in its early stage formation. Of course you can use traditional tools like moving averages and maybe even some Fibonacci tools, Fibonacci lines and everything. It helps really, okay. It's just that in my opinion it's still more fundamental rather than technical, because liquidity is still coming into this market, so that's why it's more like fundamentally reliant, okay. Let's see what other questions we got here. So yeah, the question was about, let's say you want to trade Solana, and what is better, to trade Solana to stablecoin like USDT, or maybe to trade Solana to a coin like Bitcoin, for example. So there is a trade-off here. Let's look at Solana to Bitcoin. Okay, so what's the problem? Why you once again, okay, maybe let's just open it here instead. Solana Bitcoin. Yeah, I can see some questions about the technical analysis and then bot configurations. We will come back to this question in 5 minutes. Just let me show you right now the answer for the question about whether to trade Solana to USDT or to Bitcoin. So I think it's a quite simple answer, because when you trade Solana to Bitcoin, then of course you are exposed to the volatility of two coins simultaneously, because you know that the value of Solana can appreciate or depreciate relative to USD, for example, because still we live in the world where USD is like the key currency pretty much. So you estimate your worth in USD or euro. So it's not yet the case for you to estimate your well, your how to say, deposit in Bitcoin. Well, can be the case for some of you, but still at the end of the day you withdraw money to get them in USD and to buy a house or something else that you need. So the value of Solana to USD can appreciate, depreciate, and at the same time Bitcoin can appreciate and depreciate. So for example, in this scenario when both the rate of Solana to Bitcoin is falling, like this for example, and when you see the price of Bitcoin to USD also falling, then that's a double pressure on your position, because not only you are losing money because Bitcoin, because Solana is depreciating relative to Bitcoin, and that way your investment depreciates, but also because the value of Bitcoin depreciates to its value in dollar, and then it's kind of a double attack on your position. So maybe let's use example with okay, that's Bitcoin, and now let's have an overlay with Solana coin. Solana to Bitcoin maybe. Let's see. So when you look at this chart, you can see that during this period, well, actually that would be an ideal one to start from here. So you could see that both the rate of Solana to Bitcoin appreciated from the 4th of January 2021 up until around 20th of April. And at the same time, the value of Bitcoin has appreciated relative to USD. So what that means? That means that not only your bot made you profits in Bitcoin because you've been trading Solana to Bitcoin and you know that the bot makes you money in Bitcoin, but the value of Bitcoin that you made, it has also appreciated relative to USDT. So for you, that can be sometimes a double X return compared if you would just trade Solana to USDT. And it can be a triple return depending on the correlation of Solana to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to USDT at the same time. Well, and also Solana to USDT. So in some cases, this strategy can bring you the biggest return possible when trading bots, but here you take a double risk because you know that at some point both the value of Bitcoin can depreciate and the rate of Solana to Bitcoin can depreciate. So that way it's a double sword game in that case. So if you don't want to play with the market like that, I mean taking this huge risk, then of course trading just Solana to USDT is like the most conservative strategy you can possibly have in automated bots trading, because you just make money in USDT and you know that tomorrow you had $471 earned today and you know that it's gonna be worth the same value tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Okay, so in USDT you just make money in crypto, in a stable coin, which is like one of the most reliable in terms of its volatility. Yes, it sometimes falls or appreciates relative to other stable coins, so sometimes one USDT is not worth $1, but in most cases it is. So that's like the most conservative. So to summarize, trading Solana to Bitcoin would be the most aggressive strategy, and at the same time it could bring you the highest return possible, but you take the highest risk possible in that case. So you can mix, you can trade both to USDT and to still have some strategies that are trading to Bitcoin. Let's say you want to accumulate Bitcoin or Ethereum in a long-term perspective, then yes, it makes sense to trade some coins in exchange for Ethereum or BNB or maybe Bitcoin. If you want to accumulate more of Bitcoin, BNB or Ethereum, so it makes sense. But yeah, take into account the risk. So yeah, you can actually use the trading view in this case, because you can have the overlay of different charts here. Like you see, I have Solana to Bitcoin rate. It's the orange chart here, orange line actually, and the rate of Bitcoin to USDT. So that way you can kind of see if the market is now more interested in Solana or in Bitcoin. In most cases, people prefer to sell their altcoins to Bitcoin at the time when they see Bitcoin appreciating and especially taking all-time highs. But for cases like Solana, it's, you see, the interest was more in Solana on this rally in August. So it's a case by case, and again, everything is about the fundamental research. Let's see some questions about the analysis. Dmitry, do all your robots have stop losses? So Alex, honestly, I have no stop losses here at all. You know why? because I monitor activity of my bots every single day, okay? And that way I have full control over it. And I have some alerts, notifications, just in case if the price sharply falls. So I have some exit scenarios in my head. The reason why I don't have stop losses as of now is just because, well, I like to have this full control. I like to use stop trailing down to accumulate more coins if I'm out of the trading range, and that way using stop trailing down I can extend my trading range lower to kind of capture this momentum over here, for example, because fundamentally I'm still bullish in general, and I've been right for like the last 5 months. You see, I've been holding some bots for like 5 months already, since the time when I started to accumulate coins like 0x and Litecoin on a downfall back in May 2021. So, and I'm still bullish, especially as we now made this all-time high in Bitcoin. I feel like there is a lot of space upper to explore the price. So I think, well, 66k as of now, it's not the limit. So I think we might, again, it's not a financial advice, it's just how I see it. And as I'm like in the midterm I am bullish, then I honestly just don't want to kind of narrow down the price exploration for my bot, because it can go below my trading range. But instead of using the stop loss, I would just use the stop trading down to accumulate even more coins, because I can afford it based on the return that I generated. I can risk a portion of this return to cover the losses in case if the price sharply falls, okay? So that's the risk tolerance that I have here. But it's, well, the wise thing for you to do is to use stop trading down plus the stop loss. And the stop loss to be, in that case, over here. So lower, below the stop trading down in that case. Because let's say you use the stop trading down, the bot used some of your funds from available balance, but still the price continues to fall, and you know, okay, the last resort thing for you to do is just to exit it, because you don't want to see the value of your investment falling even further. So in that case, stop loss will just save you in that case. And of course, using stop loss makes sense if you don't have that much time as I have, for example, on trading. And let's say you just want to check the status of your bots, let's say 2 times a week, then in that case I highly, strongly urge you to use the stop loss, because in days when you are out of, okay, let's say you cannot open Bitsgap because maybe you have some other things to do, maybe you are on a plane or whatsoever, maybe you are on a trip, stop loss will secure you in these days, okay? It's just that in my case I'm not using stop losses as of now, but yeah, before that I used to use them. Yeah, it really depends on the market scenario. As of now, I don't see any point for me to set the stop loss, okay? Yes, the volume profile is not in Bitsgap, because that's the tool only available here on the trading view, okay? So, but still on Bitsgap you have essential tools to use to plot all of these support and resistance lines. So yes, of course, ideally it would be great to have volume profile here at Bitsgap. It's just that this feature is not our first priority, okay? So we'd rather focus on other features, like the recent one was trailing down, and maybe adding some new features like that in the nearest future, because that way we know it will maximize your returns substantially more than just adding some indicators like fixed volume profile, because that's something you can use here on TradingView, okay? So why would we just copy paste it? Instead, we focus on unique new features, okay? Something that you won't be able to find on TradingView or on any other platform. So I think that's the rationale, I would say. We focus on features you won't be able to find elsewhere. Whereas with volume profile, okay, just open TradingView and here you go. It just literally takes a few clicks and then we're ready to go. Because at the end, you always go back to your Bitsgap chart and still use it to plot all of this stop trading, stop loss, your upper limit price for the trading range and your lower limit price for your trading range. So you end up still configuring all of these things on the chart we have here on Bitsgap. Yep. So let me see what else we have here. Like, there are so many questions, guys, to be honest, and I'm trying to select the most interesting one so that you would all benefit from it. Is it possible to implement different buy and sell grid steps for bots? So that was the question. So technically the question is about the grid step between buy orders and sell orders. So maybe let's use let's use this chart wherever. So maybe some of you want to have this distant layout for your sell orders. Yeah, and then there is a rationale behind it for sure. And maybe you want to have your buy orders located tightly like this. Yes, I mean, I understand the rationale of this question, and in some scenarios this can bring you more returns. And I would say in the future we will have this opportunity to play with these kind of settings, like really in-depth setups. But as of now, the principle we follow at Bitsgap is to make it simple, okay, for everyone, so that you just click on start new bot, Asbot, and all things being equal, here you go, grid step, grid levels, without any really in-depth configurations, okay? So the principle once again is to make sure that everyone, like the vast majority of you, is well satisfied and can really understand the product without all of this for some hard things like having this different grid step between sell orders and buy orders. Okay, I cannot tell you when exactly we will enable this kind of more or less the same configurations that I'm demonstrating on a chart now, but that's something we've been thinking about. And yes, there is a rationale to have it for those who are experienced enough in trading bots, and they know that when they play with different configurations for sell and buy orders, then they can manipulate the final outcome, the final performance of the bot. Okay, and it makes sense. And yes, so it's just that as of now we have these bots, but I would say most likely we will have this in-depth configuration feature so that you could even further go deep into your configurations to make them as unique as possible. I mean, to stand out sometimes. And yeah, it's something that we've been thinking about for quite a long time already, and it's, I would say, in the roadmap. It seems like so I'm reading now the question from Roy Duthak, if I pronounce your name correctly. It seems like even with Asbot you need to start it on a currency that you have done analysis on to tell that it will be set to rise over time, correct? When it goes, does it wipes out robotic profits? So okay, so the thing about analysis and everything is that it's always better to trade those coins that you are familiar with, okay, and you know the fundamental aspects of these coins, and that at least give you some clarity for the midterm perspective. Let's say for the next 5 months, what can possibly happen with this coin, like what's the roadmap of this coin, if they are ambitious enough to execute the plans, how did they execute their plans in the past, did they succeed, how many times did they postpone the release of, let's say, new updates for their platform, like Solana for example, GYDX, whatever. So you analyze these things and see if, yeah, this coin is still competitive on the market, because when you know that the coin is competitive enough, then it just gives you more confidence that it's a bullish case for you to trade this coin, okay? And the thing is that even if you trade coins you're not familiar with, let's say I'm not familiar with the Shiba, and let's say just somebody told me it's a good one, or maybe I just looked into the backtest results over here and I can see that Shiba has been performing really well, which is like 20.86% or something. Yeah, well, of course I could use just, let's say, technical analysis, and I would support these kind of things. It's a kind of a flag in that case, and yeah, so or no, actually it's not the flag, I think it was known as the ascending triangle or something. I'm honestly, I don't remember exactly, but there is this kind of formation on the market that you can spot, like this one. And if you see that historically the price been moving upwards and you spot this formation on the bullish trend, then most likely the breakout is going to be higher statistically. Boom. So, well, if I'm not familiar with the coin, then I would just stick maybe with the technical analysis, and I would not put let's say in those coins in which I'm confident, I would allocate $1,000. But in case of Shiba, I'm not confident. I don't know this coin good enough, so I would allocate, let's say, only $400. So that way I'm just yeah, allocating 40%, because the trade-off here I take into account is that the lack of knowledge, and that's why I don't allocate a regular sum of $1,000. And it can be the case that one bot can generate you more returns than the other ones, and it can be that some bots are in a loss, like I have for SNX and MKR, they are in a loss. So that pretty much means that those bots that I have in profit, they offset the negative return of my SNX and MKR as of now. So it really makes sense to diversify with different bots, trading on different coins, using different strategies. You see I have Asbot in most of them, and I also have classic bot, because I know that when the market is rising, it really makes sense for me to trade with the classic bot, because classic bot on this kind of market scenario is gonna bring me the biggest return. Whereas when I see the market moving sideways or even falling, but I'm still confident that it's gonna revert and go higher, then Asbot is the ultimate solution, because Asbot is specifically designed for the sideways market to generate you more returns, and when it falls, it's gonna accumulate more coins. It's gonna accumulate more of the base currency when comparing it with the classic bot. And the reason for that is it's built-in investment distribution logic. It's just that Asbot buys more when the price falls, whereas classic bot buys more when the price appreciates. So take that into account when you configure your bot. So when you, okay, let's say you made a sound research and you're confident that Ethereum is gonna go higher. Oh no, that's Bitcoin. And that way stick with the classic bot, okay? Because if you feel like the market is gonna go higher, then makes sense to trade with classic bot. If you feel like there is a room for it to fall and to kind of let the market accumulate it on the short sell-off, then makes sense to trade with the Asbot. It's gonna secure the best way, and it's going to accumulate more coins on the downfall. That's the case for when it comes to the difference for Asbot and the classic bot. So as a rule of thumb, I would recommend trade only those coins you understand, mix with different coins, mix with different strategies, and that way some bots will outperform, some bots will underperform, and some bots will even be in the negative zone, like I have SNX and MKR. But thanks to those other bots, they offset this loss that I have right now in SNX and MKR. So the only thing that matters at the end of the day is your total balance and this sum total P&L. That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Okay, and by the way, we are working on this additional metrics like daily bot profit. That's basically the other question we have here about the daily bot profit feature, and I can tell you that well, by the end of this year we're gonna implement it, or it's gonna be implemented at the beginning of 2022. So it's something that we are working on. It's not the first priority feature because we have other things that will well, bring you more benefits than this small tiny feature of having some bot daily profit. But we are working on the optimization of analytics that we provide here. Okay, if you compare current dashboard, the analytical dashboard, with the one we had 7 months ago, it's a huge difference. And you can say for sure that what we have now is way better, because now we not just tell you what the amount of transactions you had, trading time, all of these things, but also we show you the benchmark, like what's the performance of benchmark coins compared with your bot, and what would be the return if you would just hodl coins instead of allocating them to the bot. And here's the answer. If I would just hodl OXT, and that was the amount I had at the time I launched the bot, I would be up by $142 only. But thanks to the bot, thanks to the features like trailing up that allow me to follow the market rally, thanks to the features like trailing down that allows me to buy the dip if the price of the coin goes below the initially set trading range, all of these things, they let my bot to participate in every minor price swing on the market, even when I'm away from my laptop and I'm not there to manually do all these things. Trading down and trading up, it saves a lot of time and basically provides more opportunities for the bot to trade, and that's the result for OXT in that case. You see 400 instead of 146 if I would just hodl it. And yeah, I mean, here what you have now, it tells you a better story compared with what you could have 7 months ago. And we keep updating these features. We keep working on extra metrics that will further let you kind of digest your trading results and see which strategy plays out the best and which one is underperforming. So everything here is at your disposal. If you are not sure about your strategy, you have the demo mode. You go here, demo mode, voila, you have this virtual money to trade with. Literally like 7,100. That's heck of a lot of money, but it's a virtual money. But still, it mimics the real market, and you can experiment with different strategies before risking your real money. So that's the pure gold here. Okay, and you have literally everything to enhance your skills before risking your real capital. Okay, so that's the beauty of Bitsgap. It's not just an all-in-one platform for portfolio management, manual trading, and automated bots trading. It's literally the place for you to experiment. It's a sandbox, and this sandbox can be risk-free with the demo mode. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, so there was a question if you can edit the settings of your active bots. Okay, so the thing is, you won't be able to change most of the settings. For example, you cannot change on let's say on my basic intention token. As of now, I have 30 grid levels. So if I would want to have 35 grid levels instead, then I would need to close it and then open a new one with 35 grid levels. I cannot do it when my bot is in active trading modes. So the things that you can change are following. So you click on modify and you can change the trading up, you can set the take profit, and you can set or deselect the stop loss if you no longer need it. So these are the 3 things you can do, okay? And the reason for that is because as of now, it's not possible when the bot is in active status to change the grid levels and the grid step, because that would require us to close all of the open orders and allocate the new buy and sell orders with new settings. It's pretty much the same as just closing the bot. So in order to avoid this confusion, as of now, it's just that if you want to change settings like grid step, the amount of grid steps, and maybe the total allocation, it's just through this button. Just close the bot, cancel all open orders, and yeah, you cancel it, and then you open a new one with new settings and you're ready to go again. All right, so this is how it works as of now, to answer your question. So as of the trailing stop, so for example, when you trade bots, you can say that, let's use the classic bot, yeah, here for example. So if you set the stop loss, boom, over here, and then you also set the trailing up, what that means essentially is that your stop loss becomes trailing automatically. So whenever the price reaches higher price over here and goes higher, with the trailing up, you know that your trading range will follow it. And not only the trading range will follow the market rally, but the stop loss is gonna follow it as well. And the way it's gonna follow it is by always maintaining this distance from the lower price. So if it was initially set, let's say, as of now it's what, 10%, then whenever the trading range goes higher, like this for example, your stop loss is gonna be 10% down always, like maintaining this distance. So that's why you need to know that. Something that is not obvious at first glance, but once you start trading, and well, of course, when you listen to this kind of webcast that we host, you get these tips and tricks. So now you know that with the trading up enabled, your stop loss automatically becomes a trailing stop loss as well. As of the trading here, where you have also stop loss and trailing feature, the thing about the trailing is that well, your stop loss and it's gonna follow as well with the trailing. And also if you, let's say, no, actually that's not important, to be honest. What I was just thinking of showing you instead, let's see if there are some use cases I can demonstrate instead. So there was a question about if we are planning for the trading down for the classic bot. So yes, actually there is a task for us, not for us, but for the technical department to figure out the best way to implement the trading down feature for the classic bot. As of now, we don't have it. As you can see, when you go to classic bot, you don't have the trading down. It's because of the some of the limitations of the classic bot because of its investment distribution logic, but we are working on this feature for the classic bot. So I would say the priority is like the coming month, not weeks. So you should expect it in, I would say, at the end of this year or at the beginning of the 2022. About the app for, I think it was a question about the mobile app. So again, it's planned for 2022. And what else we got here? Maybe some live questions like, does the Asbot ever execute a trade that occurs in a loss? No, Brian, the answer is no. And let me tell you why. When you understand the logic of grid trading, which is the built-in mechanism of the Asbot, you know that the bot will always buy low and sell high. And it can do this regardless of the market direction. It can do this on the falling market, in the rising market, it doesn't matter. It will always find these opportunities to buy low and sell high. So that's why the bot profit is always in green, okay? But the change is what matters at the end of the day, because it shows how your total investment has appreciated or depreciated, and that's the only thing that matters actually. And it can be negative. Why? Because you have some MKR on your balance, and that means that you are exposed to the depreciation of MKR if the price falls. So that's why this will affect your overall investment change, and that's why you can see it's in negative zone. But the bot profit is always positive, because if you look at the chart, like let's say, let me open my Cosmos coin. You can see when the price was falling here, you see it was buying lower, and then it was selling it higher. Over here, you see all of these red circles. This is how it works. On the falling market, it buys and sells, because even on the falling market you have this price swings higher to sell, and then again lower to buy, and then again higher to sell. And it can be a never lasting process. So that's why if you have a really wide trading setup, let's say you have not as I have it here, it's around what, 21%, but let's say your trading range is that wide that it covers 50% or maybe 100%, whatever. That way you can even forget about your bot for like a month or something, and then you come back, let's say in 5 months after a long vacation or whatever, your bot is still trading and it still makes you money. The bot itself always makes you money. It's just that how the value of the base currency behaves is what really affects your investment change, because it can either depreciate or appreciate. So hi there, how can I save my chart settings for my trading bot? Well, honestly, I don't know. I never did this before. It's just that I always have in my head what's the range of grid step I want to follow, and it's never the same for new bot. I never copy paste settings, and as of now there is no one button for you to just copy paste the configuration from this bot to a new one. It's just that you can always look at, let's say I want to have the same settings that I have on MKR trading to USDT, but on the doc trading to USDT that I want to launch. So I'm gonna click on here, and I see that my grid step is 1.17, my total number of grid levels is 32, and then of course I also look at the overall trading range, what's the width of it, and that's pretty much what I need to look at when I open the new bot. So that's the way for you to kind of copy paste the configuration as of now. And also you can use this shared and earn feature so that the rest could see your configurations and kind of copy paste it. There was also the question about if you can link multiple accounts to Bitsgap. Let's say you have no, I mean 2 accounts on Bitsgap to be linked to one Binance account. So that's possible. So let's say here I have one API key, so I go to my exchanges, that's one API key, and that's one account, $35,000 account. And if I have another Bitsgap account, I just need to exit and then log into my another account. I can still add this same Binance account worth 35,000, but this time with a new API key. Or maybe actually, no, actually, yeah, with the new one is going to be a better one. And you can still trade from different Bitsgap accounts on one Binance account, for example. That's possible. That's something you can do. I just don't really see any use cases of it, because let's say you are trading for, like, you're trading your own funds, and at the same time you also want to trade the funds that maybe your family friends gave to you to kind of trade for them instead. And that way you can use API management on Binance, and you can generate these API keys, and then you can link them to Bitsgap account. But if you are using your Binance API already here, you cannot have another one Binance on one Bitsgap account. So it would require you to have another Bitsgap account to link this thing. Okay. Maybe that's the use case. If you want to manage somebody else's money and they give you the API, so that way you really need to have another Bitsgap account to manage it. Or you can just, well, cancel your own Binance account and instead link it to the Binance account of those you want to trade. Yeah. So other plans to have bots trade options contracts. It's not in the foreseeable future as far as I know. Okay, but there are lots of other, I would say, more interesting things happening out there. For example, as of now, we have most of the, it's actually only centralized exchanges that we have here. But there is something related to decentralized exchanges that we've been thinking about, and there are some solutions on a table for it. So yeah, we are building these new venues for you to explore, especially when it comes to the DeFi market. So we are there for you. As of the options, well, honestly, I don't know that many platforms that give you option contracts. I think that's the Deribit one you have, and then that's the Binance. And yeah, maybe FTX, I don't know. I think FTX is more like a derivatives trading, like more like perpetual contracts with leverage and everything, but I'm not sure about the options. So yeah, I think that's something we can discuss for sure if there are some provisions for the options trading. But as of now, you have ComboBot, and the ComboBot trades futures contract. Like you see here, I have my bot trading on the Aave to USDT with 10x leverage. So I allocated $97, but it is trading the contract worth $900. Okay, so that way, that's something you can do related to derivatives trading. But with the ComboBot, it follows slightly different logic compared to the spot market bots, because here you can have short sell bots that make you money when the price is falling, and you can have long bot that makes you money when the price is rising. Yep. Yeah, so as of the take profit, that was another question. As of now, you just set it at the price at which you want to exit. Let's say Alga. I don't have it on Alga, but I can click on modify, set the take profit. Oh, but why is that percent? Okay, so here it's the percent. Interesting. Maybe I forgot something. Let me check. Cancel. Let's go to OXT, modify, take profit. Okay, it's a percentage, but let's say I want to open the Asbot. Okay, so it's the percentage. So okay, so it's in the percentage in that case, so no worries. Honestly, since there was a question about the take profit and when you should use the take profit, well, it depends on your trading style, to be honest. You can set a certain benchmark for you. So let's say if the bot makes you 50%, that's it for you. You want to exit it. You don't want to trade it anymore. So that way you set your take profit at 50%, and once your change, which is here in this column, it reaches 50%, the bot will be automatically closed. Okay, so it will sell all of the base currency, and that way it's 100% exit to the quote currency from the market. But from my perspective, since we have things like trailing up, trailing down, which let you maximize your returns and let you follow the markets every time it rallies, I don't really see the point for most of my bots to be kind of restricted just to, let's say, 50% of the total return. Okay, when I know that potentially they can bring me more returns, why would I close them? If I see that the daily average return satisfies me, like 1% is really satisfying result. Okay, if I see that, well, I just stick with this configuration. I don't do anything about it. I'm okay with 1% per day. It's more than enough. It's like 3% per month. That's a heck of a lot of money. Well, people are happy when they make 15-20% per year, but when you make 30% per month, that's insane result. So why would I close the bot? Of course, when I see bots that bring me, like you see MKR for 1 month, it made me only 3%. That's like the shittiest result I have. So and that's because pretty much it all ended up where I started it, even lower actually. So I started here at this price and now it's trading lower. So my configuration was not good enough to capture, like to seize all of this price momentum over here down to $2,100. So that's why I basically did not participate in the market here in this region. But right now it's like the shittiest configuration I have, so I should actually consider closing it. And if I still believe in the value of MKR, then it makes sense to launch the bot, but with better settings. Maybe setting my lower price down to, well, I would say around this area. Okay, it would make sense, because I look at the previous price formations, which was over here, so I know that the support line is around this price, 2100. So yeah, you look at your shittiest results and you look why it's the shittiest one. Once you understand why it's the shitty one, you just close it, or like close it entirely, or relaunch it with better settings, or maybe you just use your funds in other coins instead that you believe will generate you more. Basic attention, just 2 days passed, and well, it's not yet time for me to judge the performance. It's just 2 days. At least 1 month is what you let the bot to trade. SNX, well, also one of the shittiest results. So for 2 months, -1%, which is, well, kind of okay, because look, the price depreciated, and if not the bot, then my final result would be -19%. Okay, I'm, well, around 15% or something. So if not the bot, then I would lose 16% or something. But thanks to the bot, it's just -2%. We can actually compare it. You see, if not the bot, it would be -10% or something, -$106. But thanks to the bot, which made me money even on the falling market, it offset this whole market plunge, and I'm having only -2%. Okay, which is still kind of okay, because, well, fundamentally I do believe in SNX. It's a pretty decent synthetics protocol. They kind of pioneered the synthetics market, and also they have a pretty impressive DAO infrastructure. They are experimenting a lot, and that's something that I like, and that's why in the long term I still believe in SNX. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait for a while for it to continue trading, and then see how it goes. If it still stays at 0.19% per day, then most likely I will use not 62 grid levels, but I would use the setup like from my best performing assets. So Algo, Polkadot, 1inch, you see all of them, they have around, well, if you calculate the average, so it's gonna be around what, 30 grid levels on average per each. And instead of what I have now on SNX, which is 60, I should rather have, in that case, maybe 30 grid levels to boost my performance, because based on the comparative research on Algo, Polkadot, and 1inch, since they are my best performing assets, I look at what are the patterns that, I mean, what makes them common. So you see, usually that's lower grid amount, also the grid step ranging from 0.8% to 1.3 or something. Let's check the SNX. Well, so you see the SNX is higher, so it's 2%. So you see, you look at your best performing bots and try to figure out what unites them, what is the common pattern you recognize. And once you recognize this common pattern, you can copy paste it on other coins and kind of check the results. So in case of my SNX, I think it's actually right now it makes sense to close it and set it with just 30 grid levels with the same investment of $980. So I think it would be a wise thing to do. So what I'm trying to show you here is the rationale behind your analytical research when it comes to the performance of your bots. You look at your best assets, you look at your shittiest assets, and you try to see what makes them bad, what makes them good, and once you spot differences, once you spot common patterns, copy paste best strategies and get rid of those that well, historically did not play out. So that's pretty much how you play with your bots. So, and well, you see, for the last 5 months, everything was going just great. Okay, it's 31%. And actually, I closed some of my bots, so I think it's even a bigger return. But yeah, it's a pretty decent return, considering that I started my active trading only 2.5 months ago, not 5 months ago. So something you need to keep a track on. Yeah, and adding features like daily bot profit and maybe some other metrics here on top, it would be really reasonable and useful, because that way you could compare your past results and see if you should change your overall strategy, and maybe you should get rid of some worst bots, because as of now it's just case by case all the time, which is, well, still okay, but I would say it's not the ultimate solution as of now. So I think we should have some more metrics to better understand the overall performance of your bots. Yeah, Bruce, I'm trying to find your initial question here. Yeah, okay, so anyway, to sum up, I would say trading bots is great, and you see the results here, and you can see the use cases from other traders that you can find in Telegram community. But the thing is, what I always say, never allocate 100% of your balance to bots, because the best way for you to trade, in my opinion, that's based on my practical experience, is to split. So automated bots, it's 50%. Why 50%? Because, well, automated bots, they can significantly minimize your loss in case of the price is falling. So if you were wrong about the price direction and the price is falling, well, automated bots, they can significantly minimize the loss. And also they trade daily, they bring you money daily. You can go do other things in your life, and you know that bots, they will just keep trading and trading, especially with features like trailing up and trailing down. You can be by well, almost all the time be in the market using this feature. So that's why 50% goes to automated bots. The rest goes to hodl. Like, it's like just buying coins and holding them on your balance. And for me, that's Bitcoin here, that's Ethereum, some algo, Quantum, DYDX. Yeah, so there are quite many coins that I just hodl, because I'm completely indifferent towards the minor price swings that happen daily. Like if it falls 10% intraday, I'm okay with that, because, well, these are the coins I hold long term, so I don't care, because in long term perspective they will reward me a lot more than just manual trade or automated bots. Well, most likely. And manual trading, and by manual trading I mean this section here. You go to trading, and here you manually set all of the buy and sell orders. That's what I call manual trade. Well, you can also call it smart trading mode. So here you just play on your own. You are the god on your own. You control your trading here, like it's 100% control. So that's why I only allocate 20%. And the beauty of this allocation split is that, let's say automated bots made you, for the last month, let's say 30% of the return, whereas hodl strategy, let's say, made you, I don't know, 20% of the return. And manual trade, let's say you are very bad at trading on your own, and maybe it made you minus 20%. Okay, so the money you made here in automated bots and in hodl, it will offset the loss you made in manual mode. So that's why I think that's the wise thing to do when it comes to the risk management, is that split your investments into different products. So in case of Bitsgap, that's automated bots, that's hodl strategy, and that's the manual trade mode. And it played well for the last year in my case. So automated bots, 50% allocation has, for me, proven to be the best golden ratio in that case. And of course, further to minimize the risk, you can also set the maximum you can allocate per each bot. So let's say 100 per each bot. So you know that you never put all money in one trading bot strategy. You know that some bots can outperform, some can underperform. So the only thing that matters at the end of the day is the final result of your sum total P&L. And that's why it makes sense to split your investments proportionately within the strategy. Same with the hodl. Let's say not more than $100 per each coin makes sense, because one coin can fall sharply, let's say minus 70%, but this one, let's say, can fall only 20%. Imagine if you would allocate $200 to the first coin, so it would be minus 70 to your $200, but with a split it's just on $100. And that's why it really makes sense to further diversify within the strategy you selected. So we have automated, hodl, and manual trade mode. Yeah, so pretty much that's it for today. Most of the questions you guys have are related to future updates and features we are working on. So that's why yeah, I'm telling you that you should expect some of them by the end of 2021 or at the beginning of 2022. And well, I can assure you that there are many impressive things that we are working on right now. And I mean, I have goosebumps when it I really have goosebumps when I'm willing to share it, but I just cannot, because that's the secret sauce as of now. But if I could mentally share it with you, yeah, without violating any non-disclosure agreements or anything, I mean, you would be really fascinated with what we are building now and continue improving further. So expect more from Bitsgap, and we've been always delivering what we promised, and really glad that we have this loyal community. And yeah, appreciate guys for coming and yeah, spending your time. I never take it for granted, and even if it would be only 5 people watching this webcast, I would host it with the same level of quality, that's for sure, because what we do at Bitsgap is we try to deliver not 100% but 200%, and this has been historically proven and based on the results we achieved so far. So yeah, if you have some questions unanswered, please feel free to ask them in the support here. We now have more people working in support, so that means they can handle more questions. And you can go to Telegram community and well, share your success with the rest of our community, and you can share your tips and clues, and you can ask for some guidance from yeah, reputable traders that we have. And you can participate in the affiliate program by sharing your performance, and that way, you see affiliate link, you can invite your friends, and you can even monetize on that. So there are many things to do at Bitsgap, actually, apart from just trading. We can grow together, so that's the beauty of Bitsgap. We are all together in one boat. So let's yeah, continue doing good things together. That's really such a great thing to do. And we will keep providing you with these tools to maximize your returns and to minimize the risk. So stay tuned. Subscribe to YouTube channel. Make sure to watch next webcast, and you can also watch previous webcasts, and you can also go to Bitsgap blog and read some of the articles we have about trading and some strategies you can use. So yeah, everything for you, and I hope to see you next time. So once again, thanks a lot, appreciate, and have a profitable trading.